I want to speak to the men. If you're married, in a relationship, or even if you're single, right? I think we need to take the moment to really think about our actions and how we're receiving and perceiving things so that we can be better versions of men. And it does work. When you do that, you actually get more. Right? I've had more women being with Regina than I've had. She has more game than me. But it's really about trust.
What if the conversations we've been taught to avoid about sex, desire, and our bodies are actually the ones that set us free? Welcome to Sex Ritual Radio. I'm your host, Rose Heartsong. This is the show where sexuality, spirituality, and vital health meet, and where we explore the conversations most people consider oh so taboo. Each week, I sit down with fascinating voices exploring intimacy, relationships, healing, and human potential. Let's dive in. I'm doing something fun tonight. Just so you know, if you're listening, this is the show. We talk a lot about sex, obviously, with the show title, Spirituality, Holistic Health, and Anything Taboo. And I like to bring in like the challenges of the taboo and kind of demystify them. And so today we're going to be demystifying two pretty big topics. One of them is, what the freak does a sex coach actually do? AKA, what is it actually like to work with me as a sex coach? And then two, what is a lifestyle community and what is all that about? And so I have two very special guests here tonight that I feel very honored to have. We have Lawrence and Regina, and they're an amazing couple that I've been working with for about 3 months now. And they also have an amazing play community space called the LS Playground. And you know what's really funny right now? I'm actually a little nervous, and I don't get nervous on the radio very often. I don't know why. First off, you guys are the first couple that I've had here. I've had a female client come on and talk about working with me afterwards, like after the fact, but her husband wasn't comfortable with being on the radio. So you guys are my first couple clients.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Wow,
We are absolutely.
I'm really honored.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You're making me nervous.
You're brave enough to say yes.
There's a small regret going on. No, I'm just kidding.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. Well, it's taboo. And, being on the radio talking about sex is one of my ways of impacting my erotic blueprint, which is kinky. So I like to talk about taboo on the radio, and it nourishes and feeds that. And I know we've talked about the erotic blueprint a little bit. So now that I've done a very tiny introduction, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, good evening. Regina Williams. And I'm here with my very handsome partner.
Hi, I am Lawrence. My last name is Mike, but thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm just looking at how this light's shining on you right now.
You guys are
That's sweet.
sweet.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You actually have a very sexy voice on the radio.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me, all right?
Yeah. So should we talk about working with me or your community first?
Let's talk about working with you.
Okay, we just came out of a session.
Yeah, it's just fresh.
Yeah, so what do you think has been the most illuminating aspect of working together?
I think for me personally, just the whole aspect of kink. For me growing up, sex was taboo. I never really got, I never got conversation in general about sex. Mm-hmm. And so in working with you, I have been able to explore myself.
Your own body.
My own body. And I've learned so much about things about my body that I didn't know before. And just a whole introduction into the kink space and how it can really help you to grow, not just in ways that people think sexually, but also grow in your mental health as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. There's so much, but I think I'll keep, it's so many different layers. But what I think is the person that I am and where I've come from, taking that step to say, you know what, I don't know everything, but let me try something different. Let me try something that's going to enhance my relationship, or that's going to give me some tools that I never had before. Most of the people that I tell that I'm seeing somebody, they're like, are you crazy? We know what's going on, you know? So I'm going to say learning how to be different and how to talk to my woman different, how to own up to my own, you know, stuff. And yeah, I think that's the most exciting thing for me so far.
So I want to like give people who are listening a little bit of background on both of you. I know you have like a really a deep, profound background. Both of you have overcome so much challenge. I could read your bios, but I really think that authentically coming from you so that people understand where you come from, because I'm in awe and blown away by both of you and both of the challenges you've overcome and like how incredible you're doing in this communication, because a lot of people won't even come to like a percentage of where you are, which is amazing. So if you want to share, like you said, where I come from, like you come from.
Yeah. I mean, since I'll start. Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, South Central, mostly a Watts area. As a youth, you know, I got in trouble and I was in a gang and did all of that. Before I turned 15, I got arrested and did 9 years in a youth authority. So I didn't start my really life until I was 24, 25. And I had no teenage, years to really, do normal things. I've worked corporate. I've been married. I've done a lot of things that, most people I feel, says is a challenge, but I've overcome those challenges. And where I'm at now, kind of fast forward and I go too deep into it. I'm in a space where I'm all about growth. Regina and I went to Alaska. We did an Alaskan cruise, and being grounded, first of all, I never thought I'd go to a different state or have the capabilities, growing up. So going to Alaska, we felt grounded with like nature. Like we were looking at bears, right?
Yeah.
They were cousins. We were running. We were very, very quiet, looking at the birds and just really getting grounded with nature. And that just put us in a different mindset. So right now we're just trying to figure out, the best ways to grow together. As it comes to our communities, we feel that, if we're going to have a community, if we're going to be responsible to new people or people, guarding their safety, we want to make sure that it's a right community and we know everything and we're authentic. We're not just doing it just to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think I'm just so in awe of that part of your story that like you grew up in jail, like you lost a lot of your childhood or your teenagehood and your young adult life to that. And to be able to be where you are now coming from that is just incredible. I'm just like blown away by that. And I'm just in honor that you trust me, that we have created some interesting trust moments, but like that you trust me and that we went on this journey together. And like, I don't take that lightly. I just want you to know, like, I really appreciate your trust in me.
I think this is probably the second time that I've actually vocally, expressed, kind of told my story of, the background and, where I come from and where we're going. So trust is a big thing. So yeah, you've earned that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think even for a man to want to do therapy is huge. And I know I'm Hispanic, and I know in the Hispanic culture, for men to want to do therapy is no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to have somebody else tell me what to do about my problems. So I think for Lawrence to even want to engage in this type of coaching or, you helping us to walk through all of this, I think is also a huge testament to him.
100%.
And then you, of course, being able to get him to open up and to be able to say things where he was in a comfortable space to be able to do that. So not only kudos to him, but also to you, to allow us to feel comfortable enough, to break down that wall so that we can grow as a couple in where we want to go in the future.
Well, you do know it is because of you. You do know that, right?
Why me?
Because I want to better myself, because I want to be a better man for you. I want to be there. I want to show up for you. Yeah.
Even looking at Lawrence, like when we first met, if you would if you would tell me that we would be where we are today versus when we first met, like I would be like, not even close. Because we were both coming out of marriages. I had met my ex-husband when I was 17 years old, and we were together until I was a year maybe or less before I met Lawrence. So I didn't know anybody else. Then that includes in a sexual manner as well. I only knew my ex-husband.
He was your first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I think I had only 3 total in all of that time frame.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And now you guys you own a lifestyle community. Yeah. So it's like a little extremes over there. Yeah. And then you probably didn't have any sex when you were in, I mean, I don't know if I should go there. No. When you were incarcerated.
No, we got creative. I had a couple of experiences, staff members, but no, it was a frustrating thing. And now going back to, when I first came out as well, I think the only thing that I wasn't in a sexual kind of mindset is because I was like on go. Like I was working 3 jobs and going to school full time, right? Like I was just like on a mission. So I didn't really think about those things. But now that I've gotten to a spark, now got more time and space, then I started thinking about all these, sexual desires that I have, some of the things that, like, if I said, I'm going to be judged. And, we talked about exes, my ex marriage, I don't think that we understood who we were and where I was coming from. And she wasn't there really supporting me. And I felt bad. Like I told her I wanted to do something. What's wrong with you? Are you automatically want to label me? And I'm, so it's a breath of fresh air to have someone like you and Regina to be able to actually do all this with.
So Regina, you also have a pretty powerful story of your own challenges you've overcome that is pretty incredible. So if you would tell the listeners what you've gone through, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I grew up in a very Catholic, so like I said, sex wasn't something that was, talked about. And also through my marriage, at my heaviest in weight, I think I was at for me, 350 pounds. And so I'm down 100, I've lost at least 100 pounds. So, wow. But, with that, you would think would come greater confidence, but it actually doesn't. There's so much that goes with the weight, that makes you feel comfortable. I've also experienced, some sexual abuse when I was younger that, I didn't even feel comfortable talking about originally. And that was something that I said for the first time, again, with you, because I just felt comfortable being in creating our community, through the LS Playground. I have been able to meet some amazing people and also to explore my own sexuality and do things that, I also didn't even know existed and didn't even know that I liked, right? And through working with you also, you've given us homework assignments and, some of those homework assignments have opened up things for us to be able to do, not only as a couple, but individually, so that we can learn more about ourselves. And that includes, my insecurities, both being heavy and also in losing the weight, because there's a lot of insecurities, even being at the weight I'm at now, what I look like naked, things like that. So all of that has been, helping me in my mental and physical challenges as well. So,
well, I want to say you just shared about that on the radio.
I know, I didn't even think about it until after. I was like, oh my God, I should probably call my mom after this.
Really brave of you. And, it's interesting. I've noticed I don't like to get too political on the show. All of this stuff coming to the surface right now, I think it's been giving people permission to talk about their trauma and get it out. And one time when we talk about it and we get it out and we share it, then it gives people the freedom to also talk about it and they don't feel so alone. I think a lot of times with sexual trauma, because we don't talk about it in our society out in the world, we just feel like it's only happened to me and there's something wrong with me and I'm bad or I'm messed up. And also, like, I think the toxicity is coming to the surface so we can clean it out and acknowledge it and move past it. And I saw an interesting thing on Instagram today. I shared it on my stories where a guy made a comment on a woman's Instagram about how, like, don't worry. She was talking about, like, the issues with rape. And he said, don't worry, you're not that pretty. You're not rapeable. And she went after him, found he worked for an airline, reached out to the airline and showed him the screenshot of the comment and got him fired and is getting him prosecuted. And I think, like, that is really important right now in sharing our voices and in sharing our truth and going after what's not working, right? Because, like, sexuality has such a beautiful, magical, incredible element to it. And then it has some of the darkest, most deepest toxic things there is. And so my devotion and when I'm here with Sex Ritual Radio is to, like, highlight the beauty and expand what is possible in our bodies and the respect and the love and the honor. And so I just want to say, like, wow, like, amazing. And, like, you sharing authentically about your story with your body and with what's going on is going to give those listening the permission slip to be like, wow, I'm not alone. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I honestly, I know with all my heart that I couldn't have come to that point to be able to say that, you know, without feeling safe and without your guidance on how to work through that and how to be able to still enjoy sex without having that necessarily in the back of my head or, you know, stopping me from being able to do other things that I want to do sexually without that coming to the forefront of why I can or cannot do it. You know, I want to be able to enjoy sex with my partner or with somebody else and still make it a good time without having that
Underlying current.
Correct.
You know, when you mentioned the comment, it just kind of made me think about, and I don't know if we talked about this, but there was this one time at a play party, someone walked out of the room. It was a guy walked out of the room when he was finished, and his demeanor and the tone that he was like, well, yeah, I just did, like, you know, just bragging and boasting, and everyone was looking, and, you know, at that moment, I think that's really when it kind of shifted. You remember? It just made me think how so many men, right? We're taught to be, you know, this is a macho thing, and, you know, it's not really understanding how to show up for your partner or how to communicate and not make your partner feel, you know, or not even your partner, make a woman feel, you know, degraded, right? So I think working with you did show me how to show up for Regina in certain situations and think about checking what I think as a man is the norm of how to respond, and it's not, you know. And you do get better results when you're sweet, right? Like, you get better results when you try different things, right? So again, kudos to you for allowing me to have them, you know, them opportunities to try a different method. And it worked, right?
So basically what he's saying is he gets more sex.
Yeah. That's
Well, I also want to, like, bring back to the fact that, like, you guys were having a lot of sex when you came to me. Like, you were having sex, right?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
like, sex wasn't a problem, really.
No, it wasn't a problem, but I think
the action of it wasn't a problem.
But the communication was a problem. The communication as far as when we are experiencing others or bringing others into our space to have sex. The communication, there was a breakdown there.
It was, like, crunchy.
Absolutely. Not only just communicating it, but how to communicate it was huge because Lawrence and I are both very fiery too, right? In how we communicate to one another, and I'm sure you can attest to
feisty.
this. Yeah, she'll tell us, bring the energy down. Let's work on this. So, you know, we didn't know how to properly communicate with each other without it being a fight or an argument, you know, instead of, okay, what is this really about? What are we really trying to get to? And like you always say, what is the intention here? Like, what are we really intending to do? And we talk about that every day. Like, oh, what is our intention for the day? Not even just for sex. What is our intention, or if we're going to a play party, what is our intention there? But it's not only that, but on a daily basis for the day.
Yeah, I think that most of the arguing and the fighting comes in from, like, I don't like to be wrong.
Really? I hear that about you.
I don't like to be wrong. But I think also it's understanding, like, literally that you're not seeing something coming from trying to hurt me. I think the past trauma, you know, especially my background, is when someone's, you know, has something to say, or they're saying something, you know, I'm not good enough, or, like, you know, she don't love me. Like, she's saying these things to hurt me. And so when you think that when people are talking to you and they're saying things to hurt you, it's automatically like, oh no, this ain't going down. It's like, you know,
it's a shutdown.
It's a shutdown. It's a fight. Don't talk to me. So I think understanding, like, I think we're together, and we've been together for 8.5, almost 9 years, because we love each other. Right. So it doesn't matter. So whatever she says out of her mouth, I have to think of it, maybe it's her trying to communicate how she feels, not trying to hurt me. And then once I, you know, still situation, I'm like, wait, repeat what you just said. Did you just talk to me? Like when she come on, did you just hear what you just said like that? So, you know, there's things that I kind of do this, and I'm like, okay, am I feeling the wrong space? But once we did that, I was able to.
Absolutely.
And if you've been together for 8.5 years, it takes time to unlearn patterns. Like, your patterns that you have are like lifelong patterns. You can't just like reprogram them in like a couple months, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things I've noticed that I do that works in my coaching is I explain the difference between right and wrong, or working or not working. When you like replace wrong with, hey, it's just not working, or right with, it's working. I think I saw that as like one of the biggest shifts with you guys. You're like, oh, is this working for you? No, it's not working. Okay, well, can we try something different?
Yeah.
And it makes the defensiveness and the needing to be right not be so activated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am the queen of telling Lawrence, you just want to be right. You just want to be right. So yeah, let's work on what's working and what's not working.
Yeah. And then you had a really powerful breakthrough with the right versus love, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be right, or do you want to be loving?
Right. And I have to pull away from, I want to be loving, right? And I don't necessarily have to be right. I just want to be loving, and I want to give and be there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And love can, like, for those who are listening, like, I think this is something I'm really trying to figure out how to communicate more and more in the world, because I'm realizing that, like, we have designed this concept that love means codependency or submissive, or like, I'll just do whatever you want me to do. But love doesn't, like, love can be boundaries. Love can be clarity around what you need and don't need. And also, you can say it nicely, right? And I think that's like one of the things that I've been also working with you guys is you hear her differently now because her tone has shifted a lot, right? She's been working, not 100%, I'm sure. I'm sure there's still practice.
Absolutely.
But like practice. I brought awareness to both of you guys' tones because, you know, Tony Robbins says 33% is your tone and 7% is your words.
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably the higher percentage is my tone.
Yeah.
For me. For me, it's tone. Because I know that I can say the same thing and get better results within a different tone, for sure. So I still continue to have to work on that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and tone has been huge. And then also going from like attack, right, to, hey, your actions are making me feel A, B, and C, which is very vulnerable.
Yeah. It's very vulnerable to be able to allow somebody in like that and to feel comfortable in the space.
Yeah, it is. It's because I'm thinking about just trying to communicate. I think some of the arguments in the past was I wasn't comfortable of saying how I'm really feeling or what I want. You know, so, you know, when you talk about how the communication break down, it's like sometimes men, as a man, right? When they say just be honest, be upfront, tell her what you want, like put the cards on the table. Like we still, for some reason, think that is, oh, she's gonna judge me, you know, or no, she's gonna look at me. But like, I need to tell you how I'm feeling. I need to tell you what I want, because if I don't tell you, then I'm gonna resent you because you're not giving me what I want, but you don't know. So I have to be able to communicate what I want in a certain way that she understands. Hey, I need to let this out. I need to communicate to you. I want A, B, and C, and then let's talk from there. So.
I want
really
3 women at one time is what he's saying. I'm just kidding.
Not really.
Oh, hey, wait. I mean, if you can make that happen, you can make that happen. You know?
One of our intentions from today was to have a really epic threesome.
Yes, that is one of the intentions.
Best threesome.
Hold on, but we didn't say what kind of threesome.
Yeah, what kind of threesome do you guys want? What are we manifesting in? I mean, if we do it broadcasted, I mean, we can't go too detailed.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the energy you want to feel like?
Ooh, I want the energy. So I'm a little bit of a control freak, just a little, not too much. But I want the energy. I do want the energy to be about me. I'm not gonna lie. So that's the first thing. And then I want the energy to be very sensual.
Okay. You're both erotically sensual in your blueprint. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
So when it's about you, what does that look like?
At first, when you first said it, I instantly thought 2 males and myself. Mm-hmm. But then after I started to kind of like replay it in my head, I changed that to be me, myself, myself, a female, and Lawrence, which I didn't think originally was going to be that.
So what do you want the energy to feel like? Besides just sensual, like connected, authentic, raw, primal, passionate, playful, alive.
Playful, definitely authentic. Mm-hmm. And even in I mean, we're talking about just kind of overall in general, what do I want, right? Mm-hmm. But even that, for me, labeling is a big thing, right? Just in general for all of us. And so I don't necessarily label myself. I go with energy of people, right? Whether that's male or female in that environment. Mm-hmm. So for me, I want to be around someone who I am sexually attracted to, but it doesn't, sexual attraction isn't always, well, for me, it's not about appearance. For me, it's also about a connection with them in their mind, you know, in who they are, you know, when they're talking. You know, I even told Lawrence last night that one of our friends' husband, it wouldn't normally be somebody that I was sexually attracted to, right? But then I was talking to him, getting to know him more, and I was like, oh, I can definitely have sex with him. Like, he's hot. Like, wow, okay.
So there's 2 versions of this. There's the demisexual and then there's sapiosexual. Do you know what the difference is?
Absolutely not.
So demisexual is like you are erotically turned on by somebody you're close with intimately. Mm-hmm. That like there's emotions, even if it's not like a relationship of any kind, or like, I'm not talking poly, but like there's an emotional connection. Mm-hmm. And then sapiosexual is there's a mental stimulation. They're mentally turning you on by their brain, and they're fascinating and curious.
I am too.
Yeah. So would you say you're more demisexual or more sapiosexual?
Originally, I would have said dummy, but I have been sober from alcohol for 1.5 years. Mm-hmm. And so that has definitely changed sapio, because when I was drinking, it was definitely the look and, you know, oh, I need to have him, and, you know, all of that.
Well, no, dummy's about the emotional connection you have with them.
Oh, okay. Misunderstood.
Yeah. So it's like if you're like connected emotionally and you like, but they don't have to like mentally stimulate you. They have to emotionally stimulate you.
But even when I was drinking,
you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know, right?
'Cause she's numb.
Yeah, definitely. And so now, being sober from alcohol, I'm learning that it's definitely moving towards more of the, what'd you say, the sapiosexual. I've learned that, especially in a lifestyle community, because I usually don't have sex the first time I've met somebody. It usually is like, it takes a little bit 2-3 times of getting to know them. For me, that's now. Yes.
So let's go back a little bit for those who are listening. So a play, like, what does lifestyle mean? What does play party mean? What is
nice,
the difference between that and a sex party and or your friends coming over? Because we're so aware of this community, but there's a lot of people that aren't. And some people are like, what are you talking about? So tell me the difference.
So there are play parties. Play parties are, there's several different communities that orchestrate different themes or different kinks. They're normally vetted. People who go are normally vetted or members. And at these parties, there's play.
Does play equal sex?
Play equals sex, yes.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know if I...
It doesn't have to equal sex. Play can also include just making out, physically touching, things of that nature.
But when we kind of label it as play, it just means that the opportunity...
It's not expected, it's not required, but that their erotic energy is present in the space and they can have sex if that is desired.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we do, when we host, there's different rooms so people can kind of go in and peep if they want to kind of stay in a casual, comfortable space and it's just going on and it's not there to your eyes.
Yeah. So it's around.
It's kind of a little gradual
step. What does the lifestyle mean?
So lifestyle is another word for swingers. I don't really like the term.
Me either.
And what is a swinger?
A swinger is someone or a group or a couple who like to share partners.
And usually swingers are couples swapping, right?
No, that's not necessarily. There's couples and they have their different play dynamics. You have full swap, you have soft swap. Full swap means that you are exchanging couple. That's where you're comfortable at in your level. Soft swap may be, maybe the guy, the women play, or maybe one of the partners, play with each other and someone's just watching. Yeah, you have hot wives. There's different types of kinks, I guess, or people that are interested in that they have.
So do you guys have a label right now?
As far as what we
is
kind
of couple, do you guys have that?
That's a good
question. I don't personally think that we do. I think we're still...
No, we have a mix. There's a mix. So I enjoy watching Regina get pleasured. So, I'm borderline. That'd be what we call kind of a cuck, right?
I also enjoy watching you.
So, there's that.
It could be exhibition voyeurism.
Yeah.
Because cuckold is more like degradation during watching. Do you like to be degraded when you're watching her?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, so you got a little piece of that. There's a sliver.
There's a hairline.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
So we have the Alice Playground where we host different parties and we have our own community where people can go online and come and become members within our community, where they can also meet others that are in the lifestyle. And I agree. I don't like the swinger word. I like lifestyle because it's a different way of thinking about sex, right? With your partner, or even if you're just a single male or female, there's other things that you enjoy outside of just your normal partner. And it's just a different way of looking at sex outside of
traditional monogamy.
The vanilla, what they say. Yes.
And when I look back at, because I'm one of the guys that I look and I kind of study them. When people, before we kind of went, or I kind of jumped in, I had this notion, it's like this, everybody's wild, this is what this is, and no one this, and it's just like a free for all. I had all these ideas of what it was. And when I started to learn about it, really take the time and not just think about it as a sex, because there are people out there that use the term because this is, think that sex is good, they're going to get more sex. I started to understand that some of the people in the community are really there bonding and becoming more than just friends. I'm sorry to say it, if I can share, Regina, which is the most precious thing other than my son to me right now, is, we can share ideas, we can share something else more than just like that. Like I said, that's my precious thing. If I can share that, I want to be able to have a community and kind of a bond. And kind of goes to what you asked earlier, because I didn't get a chance to say it about the threesome.
Let's go back to that. What is your perfect threesome?
So I am now I want it to be a scene where we're gone for the weekend, right? Like, so for me, threesomes and these type of things, they're not every weekend. It's not our everyday life. It is more of a, it kind of let us relax, or let's kind of like escape and kind of have this, and then we go back to us, and it creates a stronger bond because now we have something to talk about. Like, we're like, you did this, we're fun. But for me, I want to go away. I would either another couple or a single female, unicorn. I want to do an experience. Friday, dinner, dancing, and then Sunday, Monday, we all just go away. Like, we go back home and it just goes away, or the couple goes away. Controlled dinner, dancing, more intimate, getting really to know. That's what I want.
So like, a whole weekend experience, really nourishing sex and good
some
food,
massage, like really getting connected.
I love that. That's so good. Oh no, I lost my thought. I had a really good one too.
Sorry.
You know what? Going back really quick to what Lawrence was saying, now most of the friends that we have are within lifestyle. And that's because there's a comfortability when talking about sex that I feel that I didn't have with my girlfriends before. And even now, there's so many things that I can't tell my girlfriends, because they look at me like I'm crazy. And I get it, right? Because I was once in that position too. If you would have told, like I said, if you would have told me today where I'm at sexually versus before when I was married, you're out of your mind. Like, I thought when my ex-husband was on Pornhub, I thought that was cheating, and I didn't talk to him for 3 days. Right. And now I'm like, if Lawrence did that, I'd be like, I'm mad because you didn't include me. We weren't doing it together. You were watching it by yourself. So it's a big difference. Even now we share, our friends of ours, they come over and they bring their kids, and we do activities that are non-sexual activities. So it's just sometimes a misconception of what the lifestyle is, and you make it what you want it to be. Right.
You have your own boundaries and
Absolutely.
rules. And I remember what I was saying. You said something about how, like, when you have sex, it brings you closer together. And I really kind of want to dive into that, because I think so many people who, like, I'm thinking about, there's a lot of couples out there who've been together for a really long time. They're totally bored in the bedroom. They're barely having sex like once a month, and it's like a chore, right? And then the concept of like having sex with somebody else thinks about like this explosion and the relationship's over. And a lot of times when they have a threesome or they go to a sex party, it reactivates their passion in a really beautiful way. So I'd love for you to explore or share more about, like, because you guys are more in the lifestyle than the majority of my clients, right? You're pretty committed. You own a community.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it does bring you together, which is amazing. So please talk about that.
I think it starts where, when you just get into a relationship and you share that bond, I think that sometimes I forgot that I was in a relationship, right? And so when you forget that you're in a relationship, sometimes things just go and you forget to be intentional about, connecting with your partner. You forget because you're just on go. I lost my train of thought.
So, like, why does having sex with other people bring you guys closer together?
So, with that, I have desires, okay? And as a man, like, I like women. I love looking at beautiful women sexually. It's not that I don't think that, Regina's not enough. It's just that inside of me, that I want to date and I want to have multiple women.
In my experience with working with you guys, you have like this freedom. Regina gives you like this deep freedom inside of a certain container, right? There's like a certain type of freedom you have.
Okay. Thank you. So what happens is that she actually allows me to be me. So in that moment when I'm having those urges of like, I need this, and like I'm yearning something, her allowing me the moment to express how I'm feeling or get that, it actually, I don't think it's strange, but it actually tells me inside that she loves me and she adores me, because she understands that at this moment as a man, I have this urge. And instead of like fighting against it. She's like, okay, all right, you got the surgery, go scratch it, let's go. All right, you done? Okay, come back. And, you know, so, and it's like a therapy kind of. Like it is. It's like you get it out and okay, let's go back.
And I see so many couples now, you know, even when we're out and about, you know, getting in arguments about, you know, the husband or the boyfriend or anybody, even two females, two males, you know, getting in an argument because they, you know, their partner sees somebody and says, oh my God, look at her, you know, look at her boobs or whatever, right? Or look at her, she's beautiful. And then it's an argument, but it's like, why? She is beautiful. She does have great boobs. Like, yeah, like, let's go. You know, I don't know where the, you know, where that comes from.
Well,
but
it's an insecurity and jealousy.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Sometimes, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes there is, but I think we do a great job now of communicating. But when we first got into the lifestyle community, yeah, absolutely. Especially with me in my body insecurities, you know, because I'm not going to lie, there are beautiful, beautiful women in the lifestyle that, you know, tall, skinny, big boobs, you know, big butt. And, you know, they wear amazing clothing, you know, well, no clothing, you know. And so that's very intimidating for somebody like me who lost 100 pounds and has sagging skin and needs, you know, that's not what I see in the mirror. And Lawrence tells me every day, like, babe, you're so beautiful. Like, oh my God, look at how beautiful you look today. Or, you know, you're too skinny or you've lost a lot of weight. And what's crazy is that is not what I see in the mirror. You know, and that's something I have to work on, right? Mm-hmm. I still see sometimes the 300-pound girl.
It's wild.
I was with my ex-husband for so long, and like I said, I only had 3 partners. So how great is it to be able to see a man and be like, babe,